Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about encapsulation in object-oriented programming. Let's take a look at this example. In our account class, we have public double balance value. That means this balance value is open to any class. That means any class can access this data and can change it. Let's say you have an account, you have enough number of money, and then someone else come and change it. But this is not acceptable because once you put money into account, then the account value, the balance value should be updated. Therefore, there is a security issue here. We have to handle this one. In object-oriented programming, we have set and get methods for this. We simply make this variable private. That means no one can access except the defined class. And then we use public methods, set and get methods, to access this data through some methods or functions. If I want to set this value, let's say I want to set this balance value, which is private, I simply create a method called setBalance and then give an argument, which could be balance again, and I update this value with that value. And then, since this value is private again, if I want to access this data from outside the class, then I need to have another method called getBalance, and this method should return the value I have it. Therefore, the return type should be same as of the variable's return type. So public double getBalance and return balance. This is called encapsulation, and encapsulation simply means that the variable or data of a class are hidden from any other class and can be accessed only through own class. And there are some set of advantages of using encapsulation. The first of all, data hiding, and the user will have no idea about the implementation of classes, because if you don't have any access to other classes, that means you have no idea what's happening in the class. This is good for security. The other idea is, advantage is increasing flexibility. If I want to make a variable read-only, then I have to use get method. That means I can make the variable private and no one has no idea about what's happening there, but I can only make it public if I want to get it. So I can make it public get method. In the same way, if I want to set the value only, then I can use set value variable using set method, and I don't have to define get method here. Let's take a look at some example to better understand this one. So this is the example, and we have account class. Under the account class, we have private string name and public double balance value. So the balance value is public. That means if I go main class, I would like to delete some of them. Let's say I want to set the account value, the balance value, let's say 1000. You see, now I can change it easily, but this is not a good idea again. This is an account, and if you want to put the money, then you need to have physical money and go to an ATM machine and then put the money there, and then your value should be updated. But here I can directly change it, and this is violating data security. Therefore, we can put something, we can put some condition or something else. Therefore, I need to make this, first of all, private. I want to remove the freedom to access this data. So now I need to change this value. Therefore, simply I have to have the public method, and then I don't need to return anything. So void, then set balance value. If I want to change this balance value, then I need a parameter. So double and then balance value here, and simply set this balance value and then equal to this parameter, balance parameter here, that one, the argument value. So now if I want to change it, I have to do set balance. Okay, nothing changed, but you get the idea, because I can simply put some conditions here. I can say, I can use some if condition and say if the password request the password, if password is equal to true value, then I can set the value. I can say, for example, integer user password. Let's say this is simply 123, and then we can have we can read some data from user, and we can compare these two if they are same, and then in integer, then say password here, then we can simply say I can say console, then we can simply add the library if it's not added here, and then say read line. That is going to be a string value. Maybe we can convert this to string value, not so important for now. And then make this string. Then we can have string, or we can use variable because it's going to be local variable, user input simply, and then say if user input equal to user pass, then we can set the value. Otherwise, we don't let them to set the value. This is going to give us this flexibility. It depends. If you don't need, you don't have to put it here. So just simply let's keep it like that. And if you want to get the data, since this balance is private, then you cannot access the data directly. Therefore, we have to have another method, public double, then get balance value. And this balance value is going to be the balance value. So now we can simply, sorry, this is going to be method, of course, we made a mistake here. And then I can simply say account, then get balance value. It's going to return me a balance value, a double value. If I use console write line, we can clearly write this value here. Then we can display it on the screen here. But in Java, there is a better form of this one. You don't have to use these methods actually. We have setters and getters accessor. So you should simply put another variable, a public double. This time should start with uppercase, and then this balance is going to be set methods and then get methods here. So this for the get method, we should return the balance value, and then for this set method, this balance is going to be equal to value here. This value is actually representing this balance here. And then here, what should we do? Instead of using this one, we can simply say account, then balance. Now, if I do this one, that means, or make it 300. That means I'm calling that method, and if I set this 100 value, this is going to be value, and this balance will be equal to 300 here. So I'm calling get method here. And then if set method here. And then if I do this one, if I say, for example, console write line, that means account and then balance. Now, this time, I'm accessing this data. So I'm calling get method here. This time it will directly call this method here, balance value. Then again, it's 300 again. There could be a better form of, a simple form of this. Just simply public double and balance here. And then just set and get here. So this is the simplest version of this, but it will still work. This time the balance is lowercase, so it should be lowercase. It's going to work. If you don't someone change this variable, you can simply make this private so no one can change it. And take a look at here. There will be an error here. Account balance is 300. That means you are trying to set this variable, but setting it's private here. That means you cannot change it. So there will be an error here. So let's continue with some example in student class. I want to make this same as before. I think this balance is fine. And then go main class. We can simply delete them all. I want to go back to the student class. And then since we don't want someone change this average value, this should be private, but I want to access this data. So what should I do? I can make this public. And then simply put private set and then get here. If I do this, there will be no problem regarding accessing of this data. So, and then final midterm, and then final, and then we have average value here. So I'll go to this main class and let's have a student here. Student is equal to new student. And I have to set the midterm. Let's make it 80. And then final value, let's make it 90 here. And then I want to just console write line. This is CV top will give me a shortcut for choosing this one. Student, then average. Can directly do this one. If I want to do this one, student, then average, and let's make it, for example, 100. And the system will not allow me to do that because it's violating data. Because average should be created based on midterm and final score. Therefore, this is nonsense. It should be removed, and we can handle this using access modifier in object-oriented programming. So we have another advantages of using encapsulation. In addition to data hiding and increased flexibility, we have reusability because we can easily change with new requirements. We can always set the level of access. And plus, using encapsulation, it will be easy to test for unit testing. So this is all about encapsulation. And I would like to tell something that if you want to make a shortcut for these setters and getters, you can just simply say prop and then top, then it will help you to make these setters and getters in a faster way. That's all. Have a nice day.